Meet the characters from the Boricua record story, Part 1. A Taíno origin story that I created with more than a decade of genetic and archeological research. Up next, we'll view their character profiles. From their names, how tall they are, from what ancient populations they derive from and which genetic groups would belong to these characters, from modern science, and other important details. It is also noteworthy this story is done entirely by my voice acting, with many character monologues and dialogues, and nothing of this story is invented. The only thing I had to invent is the narration itself, and the more questionable aspect would be when exactly and where exactly would some of these mixtures took place. For instance, did they go to North Central Asia already mixed, or did they finish the mixture before, in Sion and Midian? Either way would end in the same result. Therefore, in my story, mixtures are suggested all the way from the beginning to the point when they reach America. Also, it is not fair to say a person is genetically one thing. This is mainly based on yes. What genetic group would they mainly represent? These populations are around 4,000 years ago, and most of these groups in the modern era are nothing alike what these ancient groups used to be. For instance, please don't think that when I say Hebrew that I mean the ones that you might think of today. Absolutely not. Understand these ancient populations don't even exist unmixed today. This is over 3,000 years ago. And now, that being said, let's begin with a character profile list. Number 1. Ako, the protagonist that saves many peoples and tribes. However, I want him to be also called Kachi and maybe Wei, and other alias in the future episodes. Ako is 5 feet with 2 inches tall, and he is Levantine, Israelite in appearance and in DNA. His DNA should be similar to haplogroup LT, and it is highly possible mainly their mitochondria would have survived, and should be an admixture to haplogroup R for Paleo-Siberian populations. Ako was 33 of age by the time of the migration to America. Ako is a super hunter. Unlike Yi, mainly had girls, aside from just a few boys like Ko, who also had mainly girls later on. Ako would live to be 150 years old and dies in the Americas. Number 2. Ken. Ken is the main character of the story that has one of the biggest character developments of all, going from being a total menace to fighting for the greater good. In the story, Ken represents the Xiongnu and the Afontova Gora cultures of modern archaeogenetics, and he is an ancient North Eurasian. Ken has tan skin, which is dark olive, black hair, and a beard, but has pronounced cheekbones. His culture may count with lighter genetic mutations later on. Ken is 8 feet tall and is definitely haplogroup R, and the father of the subclades of haplogroup R as seen in Europe. They can also go from male haplogroup C to maybe N in the Urals. Ken is around 60 years old by the time of the migration to America. Ken is a superhuman Scythian. Number 3. Akos' mother. I don't have a name for her, she's just the queen Ken picked out of many women, but she can be Tona, Tonansi, or Meira, and she was the wife of Kanoi, Ahue, or Abe prior to Ken. Levantine in appearance. In real life she is dark brown in color, and 4'4" in height, about 29 by the time Ako is 16, and she cooks, sews, and paints. Her empty DNA should be somewhere between B and C. Number 4. Jue, a Shin queen from my story, queen of the Juesi from real history. She's nicknamed the White Dragon. Light skin in color with black hair, Yue is a Shin, who should mainly carry Canaanite and Joktanite ancestry. Yue is a super soldier within top 10 warriors of all the region. Yue is 4 feet tall, and upon her introduction to the story is only about from 13 to 15 of age. She's associated to the Xianbei cultures of ancient Northeast Asians, and her haplogroup should represent mtDNA B, D, and A. Number 5. Ji. Yi is the oldest of the Northeast Shin nomads and later best friend of Ako along with Kamchatka and others within the story. Trained and fathered Yue and is actually her grandfather. Ji has light skin, black hair, and is a 5 feet tall super soldier. He represents a father to Native Americans with haplogroup Q of ancient Northeast Asians. Unlike Ako, Yi mainly had boys. We're missing a lot of characters, so I'll leave you part 1 of this video. So meet the characters with me in depth from my story The Boricua Record, and I'll see you in the part 2. And I'll leave the link to the Boricua Record story in the description down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is Abakétonë, Borikéj.